When Gina had messaged me, asking if I could do her a favor and have sex with this stuffy lawyer she worked with, my immediate response was no. I like to have fun in bed, and fucking someone uptight was not my idea of a good time. But Gina practically begged me, and I owed her a favor for helping me out in the past. So I'd said yes and resigned myself to some boring sex this evening. Except when I saw Miss Uptight Lawyer standing in my living room, I changed my mind about how boring tonight was going to be. Gina hadn't told me that Vivian had a bangin' body, that she covered up with her conservative clothing, or that her taut brown ponytail would be perfect for me to wrap my fist around and pull. I wasn't sure what I'd pictured in my head, but it hadn't been this woman. And I could tell by the look in her eyes, the feeling was mutual. The flare of desire showed in her entire body, from the small gasp she let out to the way she brushed her thighs together. The best part was, she didn't even seem to realize she'd done it, and now I was going to have no strings attached sex with her. I mentally rubbed my hands together in triumph as I showed Vivian to my room. I spun around once I closed the door, but I didn't approach her just yet. "So, you're here for some good fucking?" Her cheeks reddened, but I held in my laugh. "What do you like?" Her brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" I chuckled. "What gets you off? What makes you horny? What makes you come?" Slowly, one shoulder went up. "I don't know. Just sex." My eyebrows flew up as I tried not to laugh. This chick was more hard up than I'd originally thought. "In that case, why don't we just have a little fun? You can stop me if you don't like something." Vivian's eyes darted back and forth around my room, momentarily pausing on my bed. I wasn't that surprised. She probably had a headboard and footboard that matched the rest of her bedroom furniture. My mattress and box spring had neither of those things and sat directly on the floor. Also, my dresser didn't match either of my nightstands, but I didn't care. She probably didn't approve, but she wasn't here for the scenery. Her gaze landed back on my face. "Okay." Putting my hands on her hips, I guided her backward toward my dresser until her butt hit the edge. "Why don't we start with something easy?" I knelt down, skimming my hands down the outside of her thighs. She had on a straight, form-fitting skirt that showed off her hips, but it was twice as long as what most women I brought home wore, landing just above her knees. I lifted one of her feet and pulled off one modest heel, and then did the same with the other side. I was glad to see she wasn't wearing any pantyhose, which kinda surprised me, but it would make getting into her underwear a hell of a lot easier. I ran my hands up the backs of her legs, pausing at the hem of her skirt to see if she'd stop me. She didn't utter a sound. She just watched me from under her thick lashes as she gripped the edge of the dresser, while I continued toward her sweet spot. When I got to her round ass, I slid my fingers underneath her panties and gently squeezed her cheeks. A soft moan fell from her lips. Good sign. Tracing one hand over her hip, I made my way to the front and in between her legs. I hadn't even parted her yet, and I could tell she was wet. "Damn, Chica, you are soaked." And my erection was now hard as steel. There was nothing better than a drenched pussy, and I didn't understand why some guys didn't want their partners to be as turned on as possible. Vivian's cheeks turned pink again, but her chin lifted as she asked, "I asked for this appointment for a reason." I snickered. "This appointment?" I repeated, as if she were coming in for an oil change or something. "Yeah, this D appointment." I grinned. "A dick appointment? I don't think I've ever heard someone call it that. I like it." "What do you call it, then?" "Good old-fashioned fucking, baby." I pushed 2 fingers into her tight hole. She parted her thighs and moaned. "Whatever works."